welcome. It's Wednesday afternoon, and you know what that means.
Clean Energy Wednesday.
Hawaii, the state of clean energy. And I'm Ray Starling. I'm not Jay Fidel. Jay's a little under the weather today. I think he had too much fun over the weekend, the long weekend.
He had a good vacation.
But we've got great co-hosts here with me today. Sharon Moriwaki, who's with the Hawaii Energy Policy Forum, and she often joins us here. And I'm Ray Starling. I'm with the Hawaii Energy Policy Forum as well, and also Hawaii Energy, the efficiency program for the state. And we've got a special guest here today, DBEDT director. Recently, I guess you've been in business for about 6 months now.
That's right.
Yes.
That's right.
Luis Salaveria.
Salaveria?
Mm-hmm. And he's going to be talking about some of the things that the folks over at DBEDT have been doing in the energy business. But first, we're going to have a negawatt moment. And Sharon is going to be the negawatt person today.
Well, it's not the negawatt moment, but I'm taking their space because I wanted to invite everybody to our annual Hawaii Clean Energy Day. It's coming up next Thursday. It will start at 11 o'clock. We have terrific panels. We also this year are going to be, here it is. We've got the governor opening our session. He's going to tell us his vision for the clean energy for Hawaii. And we have 3 panels on 3 major issues that are facing us on the NextEra merger. But we're looking beyond the NextEra merger to what the utility of the future should be. So we have the NextEra merger is one. Hawaiian Electric companies are going to talk about what their vision is, as well as we're going to have Robert Harris talking about other models that are customer based. So the idea is looking at the customer. And this year our theme is power to the people. And we're really looking at the second issue being on or off the grid, but really how do people connect to the grid to get their electricity or not. And that is going to be led by Dawn Lippert, who's the Hawaii Clean Energy Initiative co-chair, with speakers who are going to speak on being on the grid, which is David Bissell, who is the KIUC, the Kauai Island Cooperative Utility, speaking on the grid. And then we have Chris DeBone from Hawaii Solar Energy Association talking about other models, and Ben Sullivan looking at the options. And our third and last panel is going to be on LNG, whether we should import it or not, and what that would look like. We also, this year, are going to be focusing on 5 transforming awards. These are organizations and people who have made a difference in moving clean energy forward. So you can come and see who they are, and we're not going to tell you now. So you have to come. And finally, what we're trying to do, again, the theme, power to the people, we are trying to broadcast it. We're going to stream it live, and also the audience will be asked certain questions to input on whether it's on the utility of the future or on the distributed energy and how it should be done, or on LNG. And we are going to ask them to input and actually use MeetingSift, which is a technology that people can vote. So it should be very exciting. We are trying to involve more than the people in the auditorium, but we really would like people to come, attend, and join us. So you too.
Thank you. Thank you for the invitation. Yes.
Yep. So, unlike Jay, I'm not going to grill you with the negawatt question today. So we'll move on because we've got this great guest, the DBEDT director. Louis, can you tell us a little bit about your background before you came to be the director of DBEDT?
Well, I'm very fortunate. Prior to assuming the role as the DBEDT director, I was in government. I was the deputy director of budget and finance. So I got to do that for the 4 years under the previous administration, and very fortunate enough that Governor Ige decided to, ask me if I would like to stay on and in what capacity. And I said, you know what, there's no other more exciting place right now than the Department of Business, Economic Development, and Tourism. And I said, it's a great time to be the DBEDT director with so much things going on. Prior to that, I spent 10 years in corporate America. And prior to that, I was actually working for government too as well in the legislature. So I've actually have a good balance of both public and private sector experience. So having that, bringing it to the forefront. The funny story is my first job out of college, I was actually an intern at the Department of Business and
Oh,
Economics.
really? Wow, full circle.
So
huh?
I actually have come full circle, and our current, I still remember our current now state economist, Dr. Tian. He was my boss back then.
Really?
Yes. So we've come very
Interesting.
full circle
That's really
around it, and he's such a great guy, actually. So yes. So it's I'm very fortunate to be able to remain on within the administration. Governor Ige was very kind, and we have a great working relationship. He provides me a lot of latitude to actually pursue the things that are really important to the state. Energy, obviously, is at the forefront of that.
Well, I've seen a lot happen, a lot in the news over the first 6 months. You've taken off at a pretty quick sprint.
I'd like to say that, Luis, that I think you're the first DBEDT director that has really taken energy to really pursue it in a committed way. I mean, I think we've had other directors to talk about energy and clean energy, but I mean, to make it a sector, an economic sector. So tell us about that and what that means, because I think that makes it really, really important.
So the great thing, or the interesting thing about being the DBEDT director, economic development is part of my title, is part of my statutory requirement as the director. Taking energy and turning it into a sector really is just expanding it. And everything that comes with it. We actually have an energy industry in the state of Hawaii. We have a utility. We have people that work in that industry. We have electricians. We have all of these things. But what happens when you take that industry and you turn it into a sector of the economy and everything that comes with it? And we're really talking about all of the peripheral things that happen when you look at research and development. When you look at financial services, banking, legal services, educational services, all of these different things start supporting it in this ecosystem of energy. And if we can reprogram that now and move it towards clean energy and renewable energy, where essentially the rest of the world is going, that's what's going to put Hawaii at the forefront of the map. I honestly believe that Hawaii is a global leader when it comes to renewable energy. It makes sense, right? We have probably the best indigenous natural resources than on the face of the earth, but I'm biased, obviously.
No, we agree with you.
Okay. So why shouldn't we? Why shouldn't we be the clean energy center of the globe? You look at the fashion centers in Paris, New York, or wherever. The Silicon Valley has their their niche in there. The entertainment sector is in you can say that it's in LA. Why shouldn't the energy center of the globe be Hawaii? And that's what I think what we're trying to do.
Sure.
And what would it take? I mean, what does it mean to be the sector? How does it different than just an industry? It's like bigger than that, right? So what will it take? Everybody working together, or what policies, or what would make it happen?
Definitely, it takes everybody working together. It also, what it is putting it at the forefront, is taking energy and actually all of the peripheral services that come with it. Like right now, when you look at energy, I think you ask the average person, they think, well, HECO is the energy industry in the state of Hawaii. But a good way would be to use an analogy, take the entertainment sector in California, right? You have legal services, you have the lawyers that represent the actors, you have the actors, you have the producers, you have all of these different sectors of the industry that all come together and support this sector. Hawaii. Hawaii has a tourism sector, but it's more than just the hotels. It's the retail establishments, it's the entertainment aspects of all of these things. They all fit under this section of calling it a sector of the economy, as opposed to just being, a group of companies that service a particular, industry. So, what is it going to take? It's going to take policies. I think that what was just passed now, Act 97, are the state's 100% RPS goals. That really is the stake that we put. That's the flag that's been placed for everybody, and it's the first in the nation. It's landmark legislation, and to me, it is about thinking bold. It's about doing things big. It was a couple of months ago. I gave a little speech at the Wire group, and I said, there's this ancient Chinese proverb: "Go big or go home." And so I think, staking a claim and saying that we're going to be 100% renewable energy and renewable in our electrical generation by 2045 is being bold, and everything that comes with it. So yeah.
Okay, go to it.
I'm sorry. As you can tell, I'm very passionate
That's great.
when we talk about this particular issue.
That's what we need. We need passion. Where people, to champion a major, bold cause. Yeah, good.
Now, what's been your biggest challenge since coming on board?
I think, especially now, in today's energy landscape for Hawaii, the direction of the state is really, for the next 50 years, is going to be determined in the next 2. Whether it's the proposed merger that's happening, other questions regarding LNG, all of these different things. Hawaii's energy landscape is, is going to be, the roadmap is going to be developed within the next 2 years. And the biggest challenge is, one, making sure that that every stakeholder is taken into consideration, and that what we're doing is going to benefit everybody, not only consumers but also businesses. And when you look at the vision that the governor has laid out for Hawaii's energy landscape, it really is an energy landscape, one, that we're talking about energy independence. We're talking about an energy landscape that's environmentally appropriate and sound. And we're talking about an energy landscape that adds value to both consumers and businesses. So when you take those things into consideration, it's a lot of people that need to be, that are going to benefit, but also that need to be heard when we lay this roadmap out.
Good.
Yeah.
Good. I was wanting to hear a little bit more about just the renewable energy part of this that you're focused on. What has been the most exciting thing in the renewable area?
Well, and to be honest, it's all exciting. So you're talking to a former finance guy. So when my learning curve on renewable energy was literally vertical when I moved into this role. But all of the things that are happening with distributed generation, with some of the technologies around battery technology, these are exciting times. These are cutting edge things that are happening right now, and a lot of it is happening because of the challenges that we're facing. It's actually requiring us to be innovative and forward thinking, because at the same time that this renewable energy technologies are coming into play, they're really coming into play to help address some of the things that we're doing. And we're reaching that tipping point right now. That tipping point where you move from a majority of fossil fuel generation to renewable generation. And once that tipping point happens, then a whole world of possibilities do open up after that.
Got a few more questions for you, but we got to take a break right now,
Okay.
So we'll be right back.
Aloha, my name is Jim Shawn, and I'm host of a show called Education Movers, Shakers, and Reformers. Each week, live streaming at noon on ThinkTech Hawaii, we interview people who have special insights into education, from early education through K-12, all the way through higher education and beyond. Both public and private are areas we're interested in. We dig deeper. We try to find out what it's really like to be involved in making change, advocating for it, how you reform, what people's philosophies are in reforming it. As I said, we're live streaming every Wednesday at noon on ThinkTech Hawaii. And later on, you can find these interviews on YouTube and on the Hawaii Educational Policy Center website. We hope you join us as many times as possible. Aloha.
We're ready for it because it's
Well, we're back. It's Hawaii, the State of Clean Energy on Wednesday afternoon. My co-host here is Sharon Moriwaki. And we've got a special guest, DBEDT Director Luis Salaveria.
Yep.
Salaveria?
Salaveria.
Salaveria.
Actually, you can let it roll.
That's with my southern accent. Yes, and we were going down the list here, and next item on the list was we've seen a lot going on in the transportation area. What is on the horizon now for us with DBEDT?
Well, right now it's HCEI 2.0. Right, HCEI 2.0 is that next evolution of the Hawaii Clean Energy Initiative, and that really is to tackle that transportation sector. When you look at the composition of our fossil fuel importation, 2/3 of it is in the transportation sector. So that's the big part
yes.
To crack, and probably the most difficult because the needs, somebody getting into their car, all of these things are absolutely, everything shuts down if people cannot move themselves around. And so with HCEI 2.0 and some of the initiatives and some of the things that have been addressed, whether it's car sharing, whether it's electric vehicle penetration, talking about, upgrading our transportation systems and finding more efficiencies on the fuel mix. It's vast and wide.
Well, and it is virtually untouched here. Actually, we have not paid that much attention to it, and I'm so happy to see you moving that forward. And a lot of people are talking about that because it's so important to us.
In fact, the challenge, I think, and tell me what's different from the last administration, was that the Hawaii Energy Policy Forum kept on pushing for transportation, and it really wasn't happening. So what is the difference in the mix? I think the leadership, or what has changed that transportation now is front and center, which it took years to get us here. So it would really be nice
in
to.
town, right?
I think the effort and has been a part of it. My partner in the Department of Transportation, Ford Fujigami, who was also there under the previous administration too as well, has really taken on that mantle now and has starting to see a lot more concreteness around what does it mean, what does renewable energy in the transportation sector mean, for example. The adoption of fuel cell vehicles. Just recently, past legislation happened, and now there is a hydrogen energy coordinator. Part of the.
Which is part of
We've
your
had him-
department.
It's an attached agency of an attached agency. But with HCAT, Hawaii Center for Advanced Transportation Technologies, some of the things that they're doing with the adoption of fuel cell vehicles, getting the infrastructure out there for adoption of these things. I think on the EV side, Hawaii has really jumped on the electric vehicle bandwagon. You see a lot of them out there, and it makes sense for Hawaii. We're not doing long cross-country, travel distances.
Because you've got the charging stations well scattered around the island, so that's nice too.
Yeah.
If
You're
don't
talking
have
to
them
two
in the other
EV.
side. Yeah, we're both
That's
EV.
right.
We like it. More charging stations.
We should give you an award for pushing that.
And I think the technology is improving even more, right?
Oh, yeah.
When you start talking about wireless charging stations, for example. I mean, these are things that are technologies that are in the stages of being developed or being tested, that is even going to further expand the use of electric vehicles. But this issue on the hydrogen vehicles, that's one area that does provide for a high degree of penetration in the transportation industry as well, because it is a portable source of energy. So we're very excited about the potential in that
And
area.
Stan Osserman.
Stan
is-
Osserman.
Stan
yeah,
Osserman, yes.
We've had him on, and he's got a great thing going there. So we're
Yes.
looking forward to seeing both EVs and, well, I guess.
Yeah, they're all EVs.
Yeah, they're all EVs.
Yeah, exactly.
Eventually
They all-
electricity, right?
Right,
Yeah,
hydrogen.
that's great.
But we're talking with Director Fujigami, about what could we do to take existing government vehicles and converting those
Oh,
things
that's
over
great. Oh, that would be good to take the
into
government
potential fuel
fleet.
cell vehicles.
Yeah.
And to get that critical mass in order to take us over that edge, so that infrastructure for hydrogen fueling stations really becomes a viable
Because it's great when the state is the model and you take the lead on, others will follow. Yeah, good.
Well, down my list here, transportation, how about energy efficiency, which is very
Near and dear to
important.
everybody's heart.
I've been a firm believer that, as you move into renewables, you should be looking at energy efficiency. Energy
Right.
efficiency actually starts the process.
Right.
And it is literally your quickest and most immediate way to reduce your dependence on fossil fuels by taking a look at
Sure.
the utilization right now and changing it.
And actually, it's the cheapest.
Right.
You can't make electricity as cheap as you can stop
Not use
using
it.
it.
Stop using it. So in that energy, working in conjunction with Hawaii Energy and some of the things, the demand management side that we're looking at, just recently we had that pilot project that was done with I don't know if I can say the name, but with IBIS Networks,
Yeah.
and with Hawaii Energy and with Windward Community College to
Yep.
deploy this energy efficiency technology and these sockets in order to reduce the consumption at the University of Hawaii. And it's also set up in conjunction with workforce development because it's also run by a student that's at Windward Community College. So not only are we deploying and testing this technology, built and designed by a local startup company,
Yep.
but we're also training the next workforce of people that are going to be working with this technology too as well. So energy efficiency to me is it's an exciting area, one that we got to continue to take advantage of. The two go hand in hand. Energy efficiency and renewables go hand in hand.
One of the things that, we've often looked at, but we haven't been able to really get our arms around is the codes and standards are, as you know, they're kind of controlled by the counties. And so we've got different codes and standards implemented in different places. Now, the good thing is most of the new construction is actually above the code. They're actually building better than code. But do you think that we will reach a point where we have the same
More
level of
uniform.
codes and standards across the state? Or do you think it will continue to be different in different locations?
It's a good question. I can't speak for the counties, but what I do know is that everybody wants to move towards efficiency. Everybody wants to move towards a lower cost of energy. I would hate to think that they would be regressive from that standpoint, but dealing with the complexities or the differences between county codes and that really becomes a function of what the counties believe is in their best interest for what they believe their building should look like.
Right.
How they feel their safety standards should be, all of those different things. So I would feel like I'm a little bit overreaching. I know that there are statewide guidelines and there are federal guidelines above
Right.
that too as well. But a lot of authority has been given to the counties to kind of help develop what codes there are when it comes to these types of things.
Well,
But it
and
seems
you're,
that-
Howard Wigg
Yeah.
from DBEDT has been, he's the king of codes and standards, but he really has, he has to work with each of the counties
Yes.
to get things to move there. So that's an area that we worry about, that the state has not gotten their arms around yet.
Yeah.
It's kind of like transportation was, now
Yeah.
we've got transportation in pretty good shape.
I think what the state could do going forward is from this, instead of being, basically making some kind of, decision of like this, what we should be doing is just showing them how we want to progress forward, what we see the entire energy landscape, whether you're in Hilo or whether you're in Honolulu. The codes and all of these things, that's what's going to help us become that very efficient and leading edge.
Well, it seems now with the, well, it's just passed, but I mean, the governor just signed the 100% renewable standard, is that it almost lends itself to your pulling together the county coordination, energy and building coordinators to say, how can we do this in a more uniform way? I mean, like you guys can take the lead on that. Building the sector, of course.
Well, DBED is at the forefront of a lot of things, and
One more thing. Maybe not.
it's certainly something that we should take a look at.
One more thing.
Well,
Well, that's maybe next year.
we'll see how
That's for the second term, right? Well, you really have been moving things along, and it's good to see. There's so many pieces that you try to bring them all along together, and it's difficult. There are a lot of different interests that have to be addressed, and there are a lot of people that don't want to go in certain directions, and so they're pulling things away from a common aiming point. And so it's hard, and I'm very happy when I see the charrettes that you guys have sponsored, and the things that are trying to bring people together, make us work as one instead of everybody kind of tugging at it and wanting their way. So yeah, that's good. Next item, your
has his
GEMS
whole
program.
list.
Your
Yes.
GEMS program.
Well, I
So-
have the unique position of having, again, been the Deputy Director of Budget and Finance when this project was actually shoring up.
Okay.
It's a state credit, right? It was set up. There were bonds that were issued for it back in November, and here we are, just a little over 6 months, and we've deployed the nonprofit commercial small business product. We just deployed the residential product out there. And, I'm happy to report, we have applications. On the residential side, we have people that have applied that already have NEM approval.
Okay.
Oh my gosh,
Actually.
that's great.
Yeah, so
That's great.
So how
you know,
does it work? Anybody can come in or go to a bank, or how does it work?
Well, the intention really, when the legislation was moving through, was to hit an underserved market. Individuals that wouldn't necessarily have access to the capital market, or wouldn't have access to renewable energy, because to take advantage of the tax credits at that point in time, you needed a significant amount of upfront capital.
It costs a lot.
And the
upfront.
cost, yeah. The payback was absolutely quick, but at the end of the day, you needed that upfront capital. And when you look at some of the statistics on the households that have, distributed PV systems, and of households that are earning above like 90K, it's the household. It's completely skewed on that level. And then when you look at households that are making under 60K, that number just goes this way. So you see an underserved market, and the intention really was to hit those areas, and also to hit those nonprofits that cannot take advantage of both the state and the federal tax credits. But we knew, we're serving a community good. All of the things that we want to help them become successful members of our community, and get them the technology so that they can get affordable energy for their needs. So that was
We're going to have to take a break.
okay.
I'd say it's a commercial break, but I don't think we have commercials. But anyway, we've got to take a break. We'll be right back. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Ethan Allen. I host Likeable Science on ThinkTech Hawaii, and I do this because I care about science literacy in Hawaii. I want to spread the understanding that science is a vital and interesting part of everyone's life. I want to make sure the broadest possible spectrum of people understand the beauty and the value of science and realize that science plays out each and every day of their lives. I want you to understand that science is fun. So we bring onto this show each week guests who are scientists, from astronomers to zoologists, and we talk about what they do and how they do it. But most importantly, we talk about why you should care about their work, why you should see that their work has value and impact on your life. So I hope you'll join us Fridays, 1 p.m. here on ThinkTech Hawaii. You can watch us via live stream. You can watch us recorded on Olelo, and you can see us each week. We hope you'll join us.
Conversation.
All right, we're back. It's Hawaii, the state of clean energy. Thank you for joining us again. We've got co-host Sharon Moriwaki, myself, Ray Starling, and our great guest today is DBEDT Director Luis Salaveria. Salaveria. Okay.
It's a long one, yeah.
So we were talking about money, but let's broaden it a little bit now. Your department is the Department of Business, Economic Development, and Tourism.
Yes.
There's no energy in that phrase, but there's a lot of other stuff. So we talked about energy. Tell us a little bit about the other stuff that you do when you're not worried about energy.
Okay. Well, DBED is one of those departments that really encompasses so much. Energy is one of them, obviously very topical at this point in time, but include inside there housing. We have attached agencies, Housing Finance and Development Corporation, that's there to deploy affordable housing for people. We have the film branch, the creative industries branch. We have aerospace. We have international relations. We have, you name it. We have land use issues. The Office of State Planning falls within DBED too as well.
You do all the research too.
And we have all of the research. Again, Dr. Tian, who I used to work for a long time ago, is responsible for that too as well. So it is under the umbrella of economic development. There's so much things that fall within the realm of DBED.
It's pretty broad.
And tourism.
very important, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
One related to your sector for energy and also your partnerships with the military is something that I'm interested in, because that they do have a lot of federal monies and a lot of interest in Hawaii, and how are the connections in terms of clean energy as well as other areas in your relations with the Department of Defense?
Well, the Department of Defense has been a great partner with a lot of the things that we've been looking at when it comes to clean energy. The High Tech Development Corporation under HCAT signed a memorandum of agreement with the Air Force several years ago to continue funding research and development for renewable energy and some of those things.
Is that like hydrogen and also the biofuels? Is that also part of that?
That was part of the hydrogen, but it's larger than that. They're looking at microgrid technology, wind technology, all of these things that could be deployed from a military perspective. But a lot of these technologies, as they get developed in there, end up becoming a consumer and for the general public. Take hydrogen. For us, a lot of the infrastructure that exists and some of the hydrogen equipment that exists started off with a relationship that existed with the military through HCAT. And so, there's equipment there that
we can now use.
That we can now use. So they've been a great partner, and they know, at the end of the day, they're a huge consumer of energy in our state. They want to get to the efficiencies just as much as we do.
Okay. Great. Well, I read some articles that came out of Energy Office that talked about the solar airplane that landed and what it really means for society in general. And I actually went out and watched it land.
You were able to go?
It was
At 4 o'clock in the
I woke
morning.
up at 4. I woke up at 4, and I ran in and turned on the the computer, looked it up, and they said, oh, they're landing at like 6 o'clock. So jumped in my car and woke my wife up, and she actually said, yeah, I'd like to go. So we went out there, and about 20 minutes after we arrived, here comes this plane out of the sky. Flew all the way from Japan without a drop of fuel on board. So it was pretty spectacular, and I think it was very appropriate that it landed here in Hawaii. I hope they stay a little bit longer than 2 or 3 days, but it was very, very inspiring, and I was glad to see you guys supporting that effort, because it really says what we can do when we put our minds to it.
I think the aviation sector, and what renewable energy means for the aviation sector that's like the aspirational goal. But to actually see a plane travel from Japan to Hawaii, which that actually represented the most difficult leg of this entire trip, to get from there to here without a single drop of fuel, that's absolutely amazing.
It took a lot of pieces coming together, just like our energy situation here. It's got the human aspect, it's got the technology, it's got weather, clouds are there, you can't use solar. All of those things come together, and they actually
had to have storage.
Yes, storage, exactly. And I actually asked these guys, they had to raise $150 million to make it work. They visited Boeing and Airbus, big manufacturers of airplanes, asking for money, donations. And they said, you're crazy. You can't do that. And we're not going to pour our money down a drain pipe, right? And look at what happened when they said, all right, we're going to go ahead and do it anyway. And I think Hawaii's a lot like that. I mean, people tell us it can't be done, but we just roll on and make it happen. And I'm glad to see DBEDT doing so much to push that forward. I think that's great.
I think it's exactly what you said. It's an amazing thing. It fits right in, with our HCI 2.0 issues. It's that tough nut to crack on the far end. I mean, obviously, as a destination place, a lot of airplanes do land in Hawaii. That technology may be maybe many years away, but it has happened.
Yes,
that's the
it was
thing.
something the experts said you can't do that,
and it was done.
And it was done. So,
So
next time somebody tells you we can't do the energy thing here, we just punch them in the nose.
We picked all the low-hanging fruit, so now it's time to really get serious, right?
And now with that mobility issue, right? When you think about some of the things that are important for human mobility, going from Japan to Hawaii, for example, if you take out that element, you use renewable fuels in that, and this is again way far in the future. I mean, it just expands the global reach of everybody, right? It allows you to travel, without, with more opportunities out there, because costs can come down, and that's an important factor when you look at transportation and renewable energy.
Good. We didn't go too far into the other part of your business. Did you?
Well, I think. One of the things that's pretty amazing that's happening within DBEDT right now is broadband. Broadband, and actually broadband and energy together is a very exciting time. What's happening in Hawaii? We are, one of the things that we suffer with is scale. We're a small community, 1.4. It's not like we're growing leaps and bounds. It's not like a new market is coming up. So ensuring that we have adequate broadband capacity in our state is it's probably just as high in my priority list as energy, because that utilizer of broadband capacity, when 5 years ago maybe they were using this much, that same utilizer is using this much. And so how do you attract somebody that will want to come here and land new cables, provide more capacity for us, so that we can continue to enjoy some of the things that are happening? And in the energy sector, we're talking about a smart grid. Right? We're talking about a grid that communicates with each other. A lot of this is data. So the merging of broadband capacity and data and energy is it fits, like a hand in glove. and as well as, I think one of the things that we did talk about in the past was, what does big data mean for energy, for utilization, for efficiencies, for that matter? All of these things are all starting to come together to create this very opportune time in order for us to hit those very aspirational goals. 100%
Do you think that we would be
renewable
like
is
totally
in there.
wired, you think? I mean, I guess you know that you would have Wi-Fi and anywhere you went, so that it would be like just total state, or at least county by county, totally wired?
I don't know. I would like to think that, it's leading us down this road of connectivity. I
Because the
think is very
broadband allows you to do that, right?
A
That you
broadband
can-
allows for
us to
higher
communicate.
higher levels of communication capabilities. One of the foundational things for DBEDT really is one, understanding government's role in business. And I think, a lot of these things that are happening, whether it's the energy sector, or whether it's the, broadband, or all of
Ecotech.
these things, is where does government fit very well? And we have this, some foundational pillars that we use within DBEDT, and we do believe that government works well when it addresses issues of infrastructure, capital, and talent, right? And if we stick to those things, infrastructure, what can we do? Government can't own all of the infrastructure, but what it may own may work on the roads, has the airports, it has some of the large things too as well. But what can we do to help spur the development of future infrastructure? What can we do to help, usher in, a smarter grid? Those are the things that what we're trying to focus on when we look at the infrastructure.
Well, that's
sector.
exciting, yeah, that is exciting.
Capital, right? Putting that 100% RPS goal out there is starting to attract entrepreneurs that want to come over here and use Hawaii as a test bed. That's attracting capital that's coming to Hawaii. And with the Hawaii Strategic Development Corporation, which is also another attached agency of the department, partnering with private capital and government capital to look at funding startup companies that are going to look into renewable energy, that are going to look into the health sciences for that matter. That's government helping capital, and then talent and workforce, getting our workforce ready for the new economy. If we are going to transition, our Hawaii's economy has transitioned from an agricultural-based economy into, with the plantations, to a service-based economy with our tourism sector. The next evolution really is that knowledge-based economy.
I like you're saying that it's the people, because I think one of your predecessors, unnamed, said, well, that's, Department of Labor. But I think that Labor Department and Economic Development Department has to go hand in glove in developing. So I'm glad to hear
Yeah.
people.
Yeah.
So,
The governor has made it absolutely clear in every cabinet meeting that collaboration is the key amongst all of the departments, and we, all of the cabinet members have really, taken on that charge.
That's
and
great.
we communicate a lot.
Good music. Because we need jobs. We need jobs. Good jobs.
Good
for
jobs.
people,
Good, one of the issues that I talked to the governor about, what would be my charge coming in as the DBEDT director, it would really be to create jobs, raise incomes, and cultivate innovation.
That's great.
It's very foundational, but these are the things that when I look at what I'm doing on a daily basis, what am I doing to grow jobs, raise incomes, and
Oh,
cultivate
that's
innovation.
wonderful. That's good news.
Yeah.
It's
thank you.
excellent, excellent. Well, we look forward to continuing to hear from you. Come back and join us anytime.
We are out of time now, but we will have you back, and I want to listen to what you have to say about what you see towards the end of this first administration. Where do you think you'll be? But we'll hold that for next time.
Next time.
And I want to thank you very much for coming to join us today.
No,
And
thank you for having me. Both
Thank
of
you
I
very
had a
much.
great time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So, and thank you for joining us today online. And we look forward to seeing you next Wednesday, same time, same place. Thank you.
Aloha.
Oh.